You know what I mean? You're from Atlanta, which is like the hub of Black excellence. So
Right.
you grew up in a community of Black people in a very healthy Black community
Right.
where that was thriving even after segregation. But that wasn't the case. People who live in the Midwest or live in the Northeast or whatever, the Black community usually was poor.
Right. So you don't think that. So you don't think that the smart thing to do is to convince Black people who are doing well to create an environment that is healthy and create a Black community, a healthy Black community, so that we can have that. Because, like, for example, and I'll be honest about this. I feel like my son is struggling a little bit in high school now for a lot of different reasons. And I was saying that to my mother and my sisters who are educators. I feel like if my son grew up in the era that I did and went to the high school that I went to, that the teachers would be a little bit more empathetic to him and
Totally.
would say, "Hey, come over here. Like,
Totally.
I'm gonna get you tight
Totally.
because you're
Like, I'm gonna
obviously
correct
not
you.
right.
Why
You're,
you doing
you're
this?
obviously not a dumb kid.
Yeah, yeah.
But something is off here, and I would want so for me, I felt like that's what's missing. Where it's like now, like, whatever, F,
Yeah.
whatever.
I do think
And
that.
that bothers me, and I feel like that's a community thing. But even if I want to move to a different community, there's not a Black community anymore. That's strong. It's like you said, healthy. There's not any more Black healthy communities anymore.
So I will say this, since I do live in the burbs, and I would say I live in a healthy community. It's just not a Black
Right.
healthy community.
Right.
So how I feel like how you would say, if you use your son as an example, like if you're doing this, I feel like there would be a teacher like this. That happens in my community. The teachers just might not be Black. So I'm just saying,
But hold on.
are you in a totally,
Are you saying-
are you in a community where your son, so for example, like this, like I touched on where he lived. I told you, I asked him where his whatever. He lives in a gentrified area. So that means the majority of the Black kids there
Right.
are
Right.
under-income kids.
Right.
So your son is going to a school where the kids who are his peers are not Black, but the Black kids are under-income children.
Right.
But then you're wondering why there's not a teacher who's grabbing him by the arm,
Right.
because those teachers have already just counted out Black kids.
They have. Right.
So you have to be honest with yourself with that. So it's like, because your son is on the same economic level of some of these non-Black kids,
Right.
he's still not going to be treated like those non-Black kids.
Right.
And that's really the scenario, and that's another conversation.